Coming up on today's episode.
Budgeting is really important, vital way. Then don't overcapitalize, get multiple quotes as possible, as detailed as possible, get the run-through sheet. This is what exactly you want them to do, right? It's not they doing just to save cost and anything. And check like the median price in the suburb where you're going to do the renovation, and look for that price disparity. For example, adding extra bathroom or maybe extra bedroom. That is where you make money.
Dodgy advice and bad decisions can cost you big in real estate. We're here to make sure that that doesn't happen. Welcome to the No BS Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Jo Agresta, and it's time to take control of your property journey together.
Hi everyone, my name is Subith. I'm from Bendigo. I work as a buyer's agent and the investor myself. I specialize in the burst strategy. I'm really excited to talk more about this one. Catch you in the podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to the No BS Real Estate Podcast, your listening how-to guide to the Aussie finance and real estate market. I'm your host, Jo Agresta. Now, today's episode is all about renovations. Some people dream of buying a property, rolling up their sleeves and adding value through upgrades. But the reality is that renovations can come with unexpected costs, tradie dramas, delays, and plenty of lessons learned the hard way. Joining me today is Subith Dey, a buyer's advocate based out in Bendigo and founder of AC Dey Realty. He's done 4 renovations, or he's about to do his 4th renovation. And fun fact, just this morning or just now, 2 o'clock we started, maybe 11 minutes ago, he settled on another property. So I'm hoping your settlement went through. And he knows firsthand about the wins, the woes, and everything in between. And he now helps other investors navigate the renovations in a smarter and better way. So Subith, welcome to the show.
That was a lovely introduction. Thank you so much, Jo.
Oh, of course. I when I met you, we were talking about how many renovations you've done, and we kept trying to catch up, and you're like, I'm just finishing this renovation. I'm just finishing that renovation. And I thought, okay, so you need to come on the show and tell everyone about the renovation woes, the positives, the wins. But I think with renovations, as you know, it's a big decision and a big commitment. And I think sometimes we have the dream of wanting to do it and thinking it will be fun, but then we don't realize what we're up for. So it's really important that I thought you come on and then tell us like how you actually navigate, and help your buyers. So I'm happy to get started.
I'm really excited for this episode.
Well, 100%. I think the best way to always start is knowing your background. What got you into real estate in the first place, and how did that lead you into like the world of renovations?
Oh, yes. So when I started, I didn't get a silver spoon in the real estate thing. My background was a chef before.
Oh, wow.
Then, yeah. Then I was in Northern Territory for almost 10 years. So slowly, eventually, I moved. I was watching lots of podcasts and episodes on property. It was booming then.
Yeah.
Then I was very curious about the renovation field. What I heard about the burst strategy, like just before the COVID thing.
Oh,
So
right.
I saw like few videos like in US and in Australia also, people buying properties under market value, putting some renovation on it and getting equity out of it and purchasing another property. I say, what's going on?
You're like, why am I not doing this?
Exactly. I say, let's try on this. So I'm more into like just do it. Don't think much.
I thought
And you learn along the way. So that's my strategy and it helps a lot.
was saying just at the start is a lot of people don't really know what they're getting into, so they just do it and will learn the lessons along the way. But now that I think a lot of people end up not wanting to do a renovation once they've done it once, but you're different. You thought, I'll do it again and I'll do it again and I'll do it another time. So what kind of led you to, like, after that first experience, like, tell us like about your first, renovation. How did that, experience go for you? Was it smooth or was it not exactly smooth?
Wow, the first renovation is always very challenging in terms of like budgetings and all. So
Yeah.
I started with I did one property in Townsville, one of my investment properties. So there was some renovation I need to do in the bathroom. So I end up getting quotes. So how I know, I put some strategies in place. I
Nice.
got a quotes for at least 3 to 4 peoples for the trade person, and I was trying to compare. The more itemized you have, the more details you have, the quotes you are able to negotiate on the price also. So
Mm.
that's how I started. And after doing the renovation, the prices of the property goes up as whole in Townsville,
Oh my God, yeah, especially after that COVID period.
Yeah.
That was a very nice time for that market.
Exactly. Then I saw the extra study room, and that
Mm.
was compliance with 6.5 meters square. That you need to have for a bedroom. I convert to the bedroom, and the price disparity of 100K goes to the property, and I got an instant equity from third
Okay.
bedroom to four and 100K. So that was amazing. Then I say, wow, just for simple like 8,000 renovation, I can get 100K on the property uplift. I say, wow, that's wonderful. Let's try some more projects like this. Then I started very small in this thing.
Yeah, right. I love that because one of my questions to you was like, did you have to do a lot of the renovating yourself? Like, are you quite handy, or was it that you actually contracted the work?
Yeah. So back then I was living in the Darwin, Northern
Yeah.
Territory, and the property was in Townsville. So
Oh.
everything over
That's contracted.
yeah, everything over the phone. I am not very good in handy things and all, handy
Yeah.
person. And so best is get the advice from your property managers, get some quotes and work on the numbers. So it's a numbers game.
Yeah, of
So
course.
you don't want to overcapitalize when you do the renovation always, right?
Well, I think you bring up an important point because a lot of us that think about renovating, we think that we have to become the handyman or the handywoman, right? Like I'll pick up a hammer and I'll start going on YouTube and go, right, so first step is knock out that wall because I want to, I want to open living space. But it's not the reality. So you actually took a different approach through, like you said, your strengths and, you're like, look, I don't do handy things. It's not my thing. And I want to buy where the area's doing well. So let me contract the work instead and start building that wealth. And I think that's a smart strategy to adopt, honestly, because I think the assumption is, oh, tradies are expensive.
Yes, completely I agree with that.
Yeah.
First thing is my numbers come first, then the hammers come second.
So first step is
Yeah, I have to back calculation and see how if every dollar I put, is it going to give me like 2.5 times or 2%, like a 2 times of
gotcha.
my value, right? So I have to work on my numbers, what exactly I want to do. I have to be very transparent with them, and same as like my trade person, they has to be very handy with, like a transparent with me. Like the more the details you have, to able to ask you more question. And I want to add some more points like
Yeah, of
tips.
course.
Like for example, if you are doing a bathroom, just try to find more details on the bathroom renovation and ask him couple of questions like, okay, for example, the tiles, the vanity, okay, can I use this, that, so that he'll know, okay, he's already in skin on the game in the past, so I can't just do anything random, shit with him.
Yeah, you can't just stuff around and like
Stuff around, exactly.
and that's what you want to avoid, right? And I think, I want to ask, like, that first renovation, like you've now done, is it 4 renovations?
Fourth renovation, correct.
God. And, looking back, how did each project that you've gone through shape the way you approach property? So have you had like not maybe a different strategy, but have you taken lessons that you learned from that first one to the second, to the third, to the fourth?
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
you learn as you go, right? So I made lots of mistakes, blunder mistakes, stupid mistakes also initially when I start, because it's more about the numbers game.
Yeah.
So the punchline is I don't have to impress my mates.
Yeah.
I have to impress the bank valuers, right? So they are the number one priority for me. So I want to focus more into the street appeal, all these things. The less amount put, I can get a more return. That's how I proceed,
I
like a
love
more rate
that.
of interest.
That's a really smart one that I haven't heard before, actually, is considering the bank valuers, because ultimately when you're buying and selling real estate, right, they're the people that end up, it's like your property sells at, whatever, like 100K, 200K more, and the bank valuation comes back, and that's the one that can almost stop your sale because they say, well, actually it's only 80,000. You paid more than which you should have for this property.
Exactly. You need to prioritize like how the numbers work with you, right?
Yeah.
If you are able to know, okay, if I add a bathroom, extra bathroom, my valuation, that $20,000 bathroom, my value will go like 50 or 60K. So I would rather put on my money on there instead of just impressing someone, you know. Ultimately,
Yeah.
it's the more like a more features I have, the value goes up. And also median plays a vital role for in your suburbs. So
Yeah, right.
I shouldn't overlook the median price. So work very smartly when that's what we do in the EST reality. Like we work with the investors who have a budget in mind and we guide them through like when they have a renovation to do, we guide them, okay, if you do this thing and this is how much it's gonna get you the value. The more
Yeah.
price disparity for the, like I said in the Townsville one, like all my renovation, like most of the properties investment, I'm adding a bath, adding extra like a bedrooms. Like the one I did in Bendigo also, it was
Yeah.
2 bedroom, and same one I did in Rockhampton, also 2 bedroom. So I add an extra bedroom and getting my good equity out of it, you know.
Oh, and one of the, questions, and we're going to get to this, right? Like, I guess what inspired you to then kind of turn this into a business, with Ace Day Realty? Like, who do you aim to serve for your business? Is it owner occupiers who want to like start their first investment, or is it just investors with a portfolio? Like, how did you get inspired to start a business in it?
Certainly, like Bendigo, lots of opportunity. It's the next
Mm,
council already because I'm on the ground. I do lots of open homes. I talk with lots of agents. I can sense that really busy.
yeah, it
Probably
is.
someone starting to buy in Bendigo, you might miss so many calls. They might be missing so many calls because you not get them like a hold of very quick,
True.
easily. So yeah, so it's a very hot market at the moment. And yes, regarding with the EST reality, so first you just buy the property is your first step, right?
Yep.
And the second step is how you can get the value out of it. If you
Mm,
otherwise you'll be stuck with a one property, probably if you're building a portfolio. And what renovation, the beauty of renovation is you get the property, you add value to it, and you get the equity out of it in a 6 month. So first strategy, I was following like a buy and hold. That's after a couple of properties, you'll be stuck with
yeah.
your with building a portfolio. With renovation, you get your deposit ready. You don't have to wait for like for 100,000 probably for the deposit.
Capital
You can
gains and
wait
things.
couple of years, 5 years. So that's the beauty I feel like. And
Yeah.
I'm on the ground. I'm doing renovations also. I have experience also. I can guide them how
Yeah.
to do properly.
And all the lessons you've learned, like, do you think there's one lesson that sticks with you that you're like, you think about it and you go, I'm going to tell everyone so they don't make the same mistake?
Yeah, exactly. Like a budget, it blows quite. It's very chance likely that your budget will
Blow out.
yeah, blow out. Exactly.
Yep.
So it happened with me. Like the last project I did in Bendigo. So when I did a building and pest, the roof was a bit collapsing in the
Yeah.
bathroom. So it didn't come out. So then it's didn't cost me much, like $1,200 it cost me, but it's an extra cost, right? So always have your contingency in place. So always have your contingency. For example, general rule, I take 10 to 15% of contingency on my budget, and that's
Mm.
non-negotiable.
Right. So it's like you've set your budget, but then you're adding that, 15% extra for any issues.
Exactly.
And
For example, the project I'm settling today, so it's in Bendigo again.
yeah,
So I might be getting it's uninhabitable at the moment, kind of,
right.
right? So I can feel the bathroom is quite lots of moisture in it. I might be getting surprises.
Oh, no.
Uh, for example, I need to change the timber on the
Yeah.
floor. So these are the things we need to be keeping in mind. So just be prepared. It's nothing you can't do. You can do it. It can be fixable.
Well, I think there's a lot of compliance that comes with doing, renovation, right? Like in the sense of when you buy the asset. So for yourself and how you help your clients, like I want to kind of dive into, how you kind of help your buyers and your business and how it works. Because one of the things that I see, clearly here is in your service, so you're helping people find the right asset in the right location and then actually help them through the steps to renovate and then turn the property over again. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, kind of, you can say. Like, I want to add like how we put the strategy. When we buy the properties, there's no suburb fits all. I always say there's nothing called top 10 suburbs, right? So when we look at the buying the suburbs, when we shortlist the properties for the client and all, we have to look the suburb. Suburbs plays a vital role. Like 70% of your capital growth will be suburb factor.
Yeah.
For example, 3 to 4 things we very look always. Like, first is your budget. When do you want to extract the equity? So equity that's correlate to your hot suburb, like a warm spot, or the cooler suburb, right? And then you have the holding period, and different factors are there. So if you can, when we shortlist your suburb thing, so these are the things we look into the consideration.
Right. So it's like, yeah, it's not just starting with the suburb is kind of the first thing. Where is the asset?
Yeah.
And then when you're picking the right asset, like let's talk about the actual house or the actual property.
Mhm.
Do you like what are the things you look for that are positive signs when you're saying that's the right house to renovate versus this one's not the right house to renovate?
Certainly. The first thing I would say, I want to look for the property that is undervalued, right? For example, we bought one of the property in Bendigo that we bought under 350K.
Wow.
And the median is 520.
Yeah, I was about to say the median for anyone that
525 to, and it's one of the hottest suburb in the Australia out of 15,000 suburbs, right? So
yeah.
kangaroo flat. So this numbers stacking up everything. So I got this off market straight from the agent. Actually, that was meant for one of my client. So he don't want to proceed it. Then he said there are lots of work. Like, I can see the cockroaches everywhere dead, and there were punches on the wall. So the previous owner, I think mentally, some his son was mentally ill or something, so he got a walls. It was it's not a livable. You'll feel like, and it hasn't been well looked after. So then I saw, if I can add some value to it, it's going to get crazy. Like, market is really hot at the moment, and where can you get after your renovation 7.5 to 8% rental yields?
Yeah.
That's very rare. So it's basically like self-sufficient to pay my mortgages, right? After 27,000 renovations. So there are markets within the markets we have to look.
Yeah.
It's that's how I am been doing.
Well, because I think one thing that is interesting to me is, finding these properties that are undervalued, right?
Exactly.
And they're the ones that typically not all your first time buyers are going to go and buy because it requires work. So you're kind of in a position of power, because do you find that the properties you end up looking at have been on the market a long time in some cases? Like, I know Bendigo's a bit different because it's a very, very hot market. So everything there's selling within 2 seconds that it comes on.
Yeah, exactly.
But are you typically hunting as a metric for longer days on market, older properties, or what's the criteria that you kind of try and tick the box on that you would say is a great property?
Sure. So when I look for the property, I want to differentiate myself from the investors.
Yeah.
How I can distinguish? So they, like, if it's a new investor, novice investors, they don't want to get into the renovation project. That is where
True.
I steps in. I say, this is what I want to do. If I can add a little bit value to this, like adding a bathroom or maybe adding an extra two living space, maybe one bedroom or something. So I can get a equity very fast, like 6 months time.
Yeah, so you kind of have to see like what the house can do. It's
Exactly. So that's
is
what
there-
I visualize. Okay, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I can see the price disparity for this 2 bedroom to 3 bedroom is 100. Imagine I can add extra bathroom or example flow. If I can work up with the flow plan, probably
Yeah.
I can get a really good value from it. So that's what I look for the value. And when I do the open homes also, I come across so many properties like this. It's sometimes very off market or sometimes on market. So this is where the value. The good thing is that those properties will buy the property as is condition. They need not have to be market ready, right? So
Yeah,
that
that's
is what
true.
sometimes vendors don't want to pay for the extra fees, and off market you're saving on marketing. And one thing I want to just reiterate that when you buy off market, not all off markets are valuable for you. Sometimes can be really crap. They want to test the market, especially in the hot market. They know if I can put this property in the off market, it will go very quick. It
It's
will
so
panic
true.
fast.
Yeah, because like the off market, like I've got a very different opinion on off market, and not in a bad way, but I think if it's off market, what you don't know what you're dealing with because you don't know demand, you can't measure it. So if you get access to an off market, like not through a professional, let's say you go to an agent and say, do you have an off market? How do you know how many buyers there are? There's no open for inspections. You can't monitor what's true. So they could be offering this off market to you and 16 other people at the same time. And then they say, oh, to take it off market, it's 550,000. And then you look at the numbers and go, but it's only worth like 480,000. Why do they want 550? So these are the things that I kind of think that off market is great when you've got a professional who knows how to navigate like yourself. But without that professional there, you've got to be really careful about how you buy off market.
Yeah, exactly. So when we look at the property, we look couple of things. Like first is your typical value in that suburb, particularly. For example, Kangaroo Flat 525K is my typical value. I want to look for the property at least below the market value, right? If I'm buying a property in 525 and that has a reno potential, numbers not gonna stack up, right? So it's a waste of money. It's basically you are doing a charity.
Yeah, true.
It's like a donation kind
of. It's like donation. Here you go.
Yeah, there you go. So numbers has to stack up. First priority is there.
Yeah.
And these are the things we always look into mind when we do the renovation. So it's a numbers game basically.
Yeah.
So the more renovation, so always I suggest start with a really basic cosmetic renovation.
Yeah.
Like your floor,
carpets,
right? Your carpets, all these things, the paintings, change the blinds and all. Just start with a basic, and eventually you can do the full gutting.
Oh, it's like if you want to go really hard.
Exactly.
So for your first one, you just want to kind of test the waters to see if it works.
Exactly. That's correct.
So I guess you mentioned 6 months is a turnaround, which is, I think, unfathomable to a lot of people. So when you're going through, the properties that you want to purchase, what I'm gathering is that you're kind of looking at, let's say you've gone under market, right, value. So the median market price might be, like you said, 525, but you're looking at something in the lower end, like the mid 400s and up. And then you're comparing that to what a 2-bed or a 3-bed or a 4-bed, the actual median value is. And if this property then has the potential to add a 3rd bedroom or a 4th bedroom, then you know how much you can almost predict how much you can resell it for. And in the market we're in at the moment, because it is hot, 6 months is a pretty good window to turn it around if you've got the right professionals or tradies and strategies in place, right? So what are those, let's say, you get the asset, do you bother going through the building and pest inspection journey?
Yeah, definitely. Like building and pest is a vital in your renovation. So especially with the renovation, I always look for not a general building and pest, more comprehensive. So if you talk with your building and pest inspector, they can say, okay, they will do the comprehensive and it will cost you extra $200. I don't mind paying $200, and if I can get a complete picture how much extra I need to put on this property. For example, I did a very basic renovation, basic building and pest report for the one Kangaroo Flat. If I could have done very comprehensive, I could have saved, I could have negotiated further through the vendor. So
that's true.
Yeah, exactly. So need to know all these things beforehand. So I always recommend do the complete, like a comprehensive analysis. And but sometimes when the market is hot, you don't have much time to do all these things, and try to put less clause as possible, because the more detail, more like a
it's like restrictions. It's like the more stuff you put into your contract, like from a sales perspective.
Exactly. They don't want complicated. They want to sell the property very fast. So lesser, it's always not the best offer wins the people buy the property. It's the terms, always the terms. So that's how we navigate and know why they want to sell the property and what's the reason behind selling. The vendors can be a deceased property or etc.
Yeah.
So they are more into the terms that time, lesser settlement, less finance clause and all these things. No building and pest. Sometimes I also did a building and pest beforehand. I don't put any building and pest like clause. That way it saves them time also and saves my time also, and I can move to the next project very quickly.
True.
So
And do you ever try and get, because I'm always so big on like just put the clause building and pest because you just don't know what you're buying, right? And
exactly.
in particular for your own home and things like that. But in this case, do you try to then move quickly to get the building and pest during the cooling off period, for example? So it's like there's still an option that if there's this major issue, you can quickly get out.
Yeah, one tip I want to add here, like
Yeah.
it's really helpful. Probably when it comes to building and pest, if I have to do really quick, I'm happy to pay him extra and just come on the same day. If you put
Mm,
Yeah, when you put extra effort and you show interest, I'm really keen to it. Even if they don't have time, they will squeeze you in somehow.
yeah.
So that can save you lots of time also. And as I said, like it's a value. It's worth it. $200 extra on building and pest.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter really when you're buying like a half mil of property, for example, of $1 million.
True. Well, I think the other thing I want to talk to is budget, right? Because, I think everyone imagines that the budget is quite high. It's like you need to have 300,000 to start renovating. What's kind of like the budget that you start, like for anyone, let's put a scenario together. I'm a first time investor. I'm thinking about renovating might be my option and I want to start my first renovation. So I'm going to start hunting properties. Maybe I'll engage, you, Subi, and you'll help me. So your journey is to kind of take through their goals and go through that information about the suburbs and asset. But now how do we talk to budget and how much do you realistically need to set aside, for example, like a property in Kangaroo Flat?
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm more into the value conscious. Like when I add value to the property with
Yeah.
my renovation things, right? So the lesser I put and more value I can get, it's good for me, right? So it depends particularly. Like one strategy, as I mentioned, like typical value, for example, $1 million suburb. I'm getting at 900 or $1 million. So it's numbers not gonna stack up if I overcapitalize, 300 if I put it.
Yeah.
I have to look at the surrounding, like what's the in the sold section, similar property with the renovation, how much it's selling for. So accordingly, I have to, unless it's not a owner occupied. If it's your
Yeah.
dream, if it's your dream home, that's different scenario.
Different.
And if it's a smart renovator, you have to work the numbers really correctly. Otherwise, it's not gonna work for you.
That's true. So I guess like you're like assigning money for tradies, do you tend to get the quotes like during that acquisition process and the budget that you set out? Are you kind of doing, is it which one comes first? Is it setting your budget and then working within that budget? Or is it finding the asset and then before you commit to purchasing, then seeing what you can do with it from a budget perspective?
Sure. Like first thing is, as soon as my finance go out unconditional,
Yeah.
I already have a chat with my agent, like, okay, I'm gonna start with some quotation in this period. So, like 99% chances that they will let them. So you just tell them like, I'll have the license, like a licensed person who
Mm.
will be inspecting and getting the quotes. They're happy to do that as long as, and then how you can do that way, right?
Yeah, so it makes sense. So it's making sure that you've got the right people kind of there to give you that realistic
Exactly.
quotation of what it will
Exactly.
cost.
And always get multiple quotes and try to get
Mm.
as detailed as quotes as possible, like itemized. Okay, how many meters square he gonna paint it, extra tiles, what is the floor coverage he's going to cover it, how much vinyl floor or hardy plank gonna cost you per square
Mm.
meter. So then you can compare, okay, apples to apples. Okay, this guy is charging you $45
Yeah.
per hour, this is 60. So what is the brand he's using? Then you can compare and usually see, okay, this guy might be charging me more, so let's do this way.
So then my question would be more around like itemized, from those tradies, like it's important to know what they're doing. Through COVID though, we had so many issues with the building industry for supply. So, how did you get impacted by any of the supply issues where the projects were blowing out because there weren't enough, I think wood was an issue back then or certain bricks and things like that. Did you run into any of those issues through renovating?
Yeah, like since when I did the like last when I worked on the last project in Townsville, so it was taking longer than expecting, but
Yeah.
my tenant was there, very accommodating, my trade person working, so and it wasn't that challenging, but just keep that contingency in place. You might be getting extra cost associated with that.
Yeah, it's like leaning
Mm.
into it.
Yeah, okay. And yeah, like the trade is always a bit challenging, especially in the regional places. You have a limited
Mm.
person. So now I started getting the quotes from even now Melbourne people. Like Melbourne,
Right.
I'm getting someone from Melbourne for doing the restumping, for example. The same quotation I was getting for 35K for the restumping things, and in Melbourne, I'm getting in 25,000. That's I'm saving like 10 to 15K straight away on my renovation. So just look around. Like if someone is not willing to do in your areas, probably just try to look in the nearest city. And also, I know few of my friends, they are getting they're happy to accommodating, like accommodations, paying their food and the fuel, etc. It will cost maybe another couple of grands, right? But still you're saving that much money. It's worth
Yeah.
it.
Well, it's like in comparison, you were going to pay 35,000 for the person to be conveniently located in the suburb versus Melbourne, 20,000, 25,000. That's 10K savings. Okay, maybe you spend 2,000 for, to get them to travel there and back and
Yeah,
meals.
you give them allowance, kind of,
Allowance, right?
just reward them for their effort also. And
Yeah.
that's how I build relation with them also. If I'm doing any projects in Melbourne, for example, in future, I can get along with them very quickly. So these are my
Awesome.
go-to guy.
And,
So
and how important is it, like because, you did your first one, how important is it to have that really solid, like, network of tradespeople around you?
it's very important. Like always have the backup trade person with you. For example, I had this issue a couple of times. My learning during this renovation projects,
Mm.
someone not turning off, finish the halfway through. I have to find someone and pay them really premium to finish that project because my tenant is moving in next week, so I can't compromise. And there's a weekend coming up. So these things you really have to be very careful. So just be prepared. Like, okay, for example, I don't have, if my project is not finished by the tiler, and I have to look for the second option, who is the next tiler in my list. So,
Yeah, you've got to have like that support that's going to
support,
come back and help you
and
finish the job.
yeah, exactly. And when you're starting a cosmetic, it's always good to have a good people, like a team that's with your property managers. Ask them like who they recommend in their area. Look for the
Mhm.
top property managers in your area and in that suburb. Sometimes, like all initially when I was doing the projects, like I never paid anything for the project managing what they were doing for me, right?
Right.
Because they were doing everything, because in return they are getting the listing for the
Yeah.
for the property, so rent list.
Oh, so they actually did the project managing as well as property manage, like on the premise that they're going to get the property as a rental.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, and
wow.
didn't charge me anything, so
Geez, that's
then
pretty
I
good.
thought, you don't get if you don't ask, You
Yeah.
have to, yeah, exactly. You ask them, you'll get something.
That's true. And I guess so in this team of like, who we should surround ourselves with for renovating, obviously there'd be, a reliable building and pest inspector, someone that you probably build a relationship with that can do this for you in future. But that's one. Would you say property manager because are you leasing it, or would you go out and get a project manager specifically if you don't know how to manage it?
It depends, like how big is the project. For small projects like for example 30-50K basic cosmetic, you really don't need project manager. But initially if you're starting your first project, just you learn along with them,
Yeah.
so it's good to hire someone who is professional, been doing for a while, and they are 10 times better than you, right?
Yeah, and
And
then you learn from them too.
and yeah, you learn if you pay like extra 2 grands for project manage someone, for example, basic renovation, and you learn a lot. I learn a lot from my
Could
property
have,
manager, like how they deal with and how they communicating and different, and they give their own opinion perspective also. Okay, Subi, I think like if we go with them, this is how much it's gonna save us. So it's not always the best cheapest quote you look for. You look for the good reviews, good reputation in the
yeah,
market. And you can also try looking in your local Facebook, like a trade
true.
person. There you can get lots of recommendations and how people are doing, right? And Google reviews always works good also.
I love Google
So,
reviews for so many reasons because even if you get a bad one, you can't delete it or change it. It's there.
oh, exactly.
It's like, so what I love about it is that everyone gets a fair assessment of if that business does well or not.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you can read it for yourself. If you can read, you can know.
Certainly.
And, I think the biggest thing that people probably compare renovations to where they see these gains, we have to talk about The Block, the TV show. Everyone looks at the TV show The Block and thinks this is going to be how we renovate and this is how it works. How, it looks very glamorous on TV and like a lot of fun, but what are the most common pitfalls that people fall into?
First is, I think, overcapitalizing.
Yeah, that was one you said. Yeah.
Exactly right. Your budget will blow up very quickly. Then you look for those under market. When you make money only when you buy property, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You buy under market, you'll make money
Yep.
out of it. And so these are the common pitfalls, and you don't need to impress your mates. Like, I'm doing a renovation. For example, the suburb is like a budget entry level suburb, like under 600 kind of thing, right? You don't have to make really like Italian bathroom or something. Just stick to the
Versace's
basic.
bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. Just stick to the basic how the commons, I mean, the bathrooms are in the area surrounding.
Yeah.
Browse some images from the listings in that suburbs, and then you can able to understand, okay, this is how much I'm going to put and this is how much I'm going to get back.
Yes.
So yeah, I think budgeting and dealing with the trade person is always a hectic for you, and lying them is very hard sometimes. So just try to work on this number, because the longer you hold the property with your renovation, it's going to cost you extra money, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to have a net negative cash flow from the day one.
Oh,
We try
no.
to minimize all this cost from the very beginning. So just have a plan in place. So with the renovation, 80% is always the planning,
Yeah.
and 20% execution. If you
Jeez.
rushed with the 80% of planning, and 20% gonna kill you.
Yeah, it's like, because, you can't just say, no, I want to get this money back within 2 months. It's like, well, what are you renovating?
Exactly. Just be patient and how things work. And don't be very rush. Push the handy like your normal trade person.
Yeah, and it makes complete sense. And I think the other part I want to ask you about is kind of like the city council side of things, right? Because do you find, you mentioned cosmetic renovations like painting floors and things like that, I don't think require any city council approval. But when you see an opportunity with one of your properties to add a second bathroom or second bedroom or whatever that is that will add the value, how hard is it to get those city council approvals?
City council, if you're not doing any structural change, you don't need a really approval.
Right. Okay.
If you are building a carport, for example, it's a detached carport, then you need for example, you need a permits and all. If you're not like adding some extra living space and all, you really don't need a city council approval. So, and also one thing, like when you call them, don't ask for opinion, because they have no clue what you wanna do the property, right?
Yeah, that's
So
true.
do the due diligence really well, and just talk to more people around you, and join some like a Facebook groups and all, where you can get support from each other. So when I was starting, I was really panicking, like how I'm going to do these projects and how it's going to work if I'm interstate. And it's very common when you're starting.
Yeah.
Slowly I got recommendation, the people who are doing like a 2 figures renovation every year, 10 plus renovation. Then I try to call them, check with them. Then how I build that confidence, right? Okay, I can also do that, right?
I love
So,
that. So you
yeah.
use like the power of community.
Yeah, exactly.
To
Community
support you.
plays really vital role. So in my property journey also, those people have started, I'm still in good contact with them. I talk with them over the weekends. We plan, strategize. Okay. Then we add, okay, what do you think if I can add this much? And what do you think of adding extra carport? And how you gonna solve? So I come across so many things with their problems, and then we learn from each other.
I love that. So
Exactly.
I think, part of your business, with Estate Realty, like what's kind of the process that someone would follow with you? Because now you're helping people kind of do the same, but is it more traditional buyers advocacy, or do you do a mix of both?
Yeah, it's like you buy the property as an investor. I help them buying property, and I smartly buy the property in terms of renovation. when you add the value to it, you get the equity faster than the normal buy and hold strategy.
Yep.
So that's my main goal, doing some multiple projects like a renovation on the side, and also helping the clients who want to navigate in this hard time, with hectic thing of called renovation.
Oh, very hectic.
Yeah.
You love it so much, you do it 4 times. So,
Yeah, exactly.
but it makes sense, why I guess it was natural for you to want to help other people, because you've kind of got a formula for yourself. You know now what you're looking for, how to kind of strategize and plan for it. You've made those mistakes. So I feel like anyone who does work with you, they're going to have the benefit of not falling into the same trap that they did previously.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
or
Expensive mistake renovation.
they're huge. It's huge, right? The
Yeah.
impact that it could have is not just like a small, oh, okay, I lost $1,000. It's like, oh shit, that is now going to cost me $35,000.
Yeah,
What happened?
exactly. One simple mistake can ruin your project,
Yeah.
So just be very careful when you do. So when we work with the clients, we have 3 things.
Mm.
First is must need to do, or is it okay to do, or is it like not worth money, the
Yeah.
3 things we follow. So first I prioritize that must have extra things, extra features. It will add the value to my property. Second is okay to have. If I'm owner occupied, it's okay to have this one, maybe extra pool or something,
Yeah.
And if I'm adding an extra pergola or something, extra shade, and it's not going to add much value to it. And if it's especially at the backside, value are not going to look those things, right? So more
No.
into the street appeal than at the backside of the house. So
Gotcha.
something the more,
So it's like the front, like what people see, I guess, but it makes sense. Like it's street value. It's like, so if a valuer came past and did a curbside valuation. So for those of you that don't know what that is, valuers can do like through, I think it's like 3 or 4 different types of valuations. There's curbside, which means they drive past, they sit out the front, they look at it, and then they make a report and a judgment and say, yep, the house is worth this much. They have an actual valuation where some of them do go into the property, look at every room and assess the value. And then some of them do a desktop valuation, which is a computerized system that tells them the value. So it's really challenging, actually, when you buy a property and you don't know which valuation type they're going to do. Because I think it makes a big difference, seeing what value is on a computer versus on a curb versus inside. Yeah. If all my renovations have been done on the inside of the property and you're just seeing the front and you go, yep, it's worth the same as every other house here.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in the hot market, it's very hard to predict how much market has moved.
Yeah.
That's what the valuer, when I speak to a couple of valuers also, they said like, I was not happy with impressed with their valuation. Then I send them a comparative, like a CMA, comparative market analysis. So you compare like a 5 superior and 5 inferior compared to your property. Then you say, okay, this is how much it should be, and I'm damn confident on it. Then my valuation goes up.
Oh,
so that was you can do. You ask, you get it. That's what I follow always.
I think that's what we're going to have as the title of this episode, and you ask, you get.
Exactly.
But so you actually do challenge your valuers when you're not happy with like maybe their assessment. You will give them a comparison and say, well, I've done the due diligence. And does it ever turn around for you?
Yeah, like initially couple of valuation we did for clients also doesn't comes up. When we do the CMA properly and send it to them through the broker, then sometimes 99% chances they accept. Even if they don't accept, because it's again like if it's not 100%, maybe 99 percentile they will consider sometimes. So
it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And, you recently shared, which I love, on Instagram, you had a reel that broke down some of the key renovation changes. And I really loved it. It was so informative. And I guess one of the things that struck me in that video is you laid out like all the before and afters, but not only that, what progress you'd made throughout the property and where the value came from. I just love it. So we're going to link it in the bio of this episode today below, because everyone should see what that is. It's going to give you a really clear picture of what working with Subi would be like, and how he helps his clients. I wanted to go down a different path and say, is there a story that you can share from a client or anything, in your walk of life about renovation that went really wrong? Like what happened and how did you turn it around into a positive?
Sure. I have couple of maybe one thing I want to share. One of the property we bought in Victoria, regional Victoria. So it was sitting in the market for some time, like 3-4 months. Every time they got a building and pest, and it's in the hot market.
Yeah.
Building and pest, there's a major structural defect in the house, in the foundation. So I know I did a renovation, so he wants to pull out from the contract, and I say, why don't we just get couple of quotes?
Yeah.
And we were expecting like maybe 10-20K for that, and we end up fixing that into just 2.5K. So, and we negotiated further down our asking price after building and pest.
Holy crap.
Yeah, you can save like doesn't just look around. Maybe you can get some value out of it. It's the property is sitting for a long time. It's not always like there's less interest or something. There can be something like a finance fall or something. So just look around and
That's a great tip. I didn't even think of that. It's like get the actual quote. It's like don't guess that it's really, really bad and it's going to be $20,000-$30,000. Maybe mentally get
yeah,
prepared, but
exactly.
just get the quotes.
Yeah, so and like budgets might blow sometimes. So these are the challenges I face sometimes.
Yeah, of course.
Just be with a comprehensive building and pest report, you able to know like how much exactly you need to do the work, right? So
Yeah.
so these are the small challenges that I don't get from any seminar or through the live shows or any renovation project show. It's all from the experience I learned when I did
Yeah.
my own project.
Oh, and this is why I wanted to have you on the show because our listeners are not going to get better value than hearing from someone who does it rather than the people who maybe do it once and then forget about it. Switching gears a little bit, but what's one of the proudest renovations that you've done so far, or even for a client or a project that's been really successful?
Oh, the last project and the second last project, like the second last was in Rockhampton. So we buy under 350 renovation, I think 24.5K renovation. And that 25K I negotiated on building and pest. We bought under like 340. And that's in January this year only in Rockhampton, one of the hottest area in the Australia. And the valuation, like we got 482, 510. So that's one of the project I did. So instant equity we got. And the one I just completed like early this year, in September, sorry.
Oh,
September.
yeah.
So 1 month initially we thought we'll complete the project and ends up having extra 1 month for that. And that was really successful again. Both the projects around 7.5, 8% rental yield, so it's self-sufficient to pay the mortgage. So that's one of the success. But made lots of mistakes also down the line, especially with the timeline. Extra 1 month we put for the renovation, so that's okay. Holding cost another. I lost like 4 weeks of rent. That's okay. Like as long as I'm thinking that as a long-term goal.
Yeah, of course. And you've got your contingency in place, so this is part of that loss,
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
It's like okay.
exactly. That keeping that in mind. So
Oh,
it's very, very successful, and I'm really excited for this next one. That's in Eagle Hawk.
yeah.
So big renovation, restumping things and all.
Oh my god.
And I'm really looking forward to that renovation, and lots of challenges I know there will be, because this time I'm getting like a multiple people for quotes and multiple trade person to come and do the work. So I have to be very well communication among each other so that they don't cross each other's time and all this.
True. Yeah.
Some of them are coming from Melbourne. I don't want to do something it will like affect their time also routine.
True. And you don't tradie drama is always
Always. That's a big. So that's how I am having extra, months to finish the renovation. But just be prepared when you do renovation. These things can happen. Even the your materials cost and all this can go up higher also.
Yeah, well, that was why I mentioned COVID earlier, because material costs changed or type of material wasn't available. Then the cost went up of that material. What happened? Like, I think that comes down to your agreement with your tradies, right? That if something is unavailable, this price is not changing because it's not your fault.
That's how, like, when we do the quotes also, you can put like, okay, 15, I think a general rule is 15% is the they can increase maximum
Mm.
if the building, and try to keep it as a fixed rate.
Yeah.
So that you'll not get any surprises afterwards. So
Makes sense.
yeah, that's how some of the builders are doing when they're doing the projects. They have a fixed quote.
Yeah.
Like this is how much it's gonna cost you in 1 year time when they're building a house and all. When I talk with few developers, this is how they are doing.
Oh, I built a house, and that's why my family are tradies, and my uncle, he was very, very strict, and he came with us to do the negotiation for the contract. And thank God he did, because he was the one that said in the HIA contract, it actually says that if the materials change, it's a cost. He said, get rid of that.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they weren't happy, but he said, I'm not buying with you guys if you don't get rid of it. So we did that, and thank God, because we built in COVID. So and a lot of our materials had to change, and the cost went up, and we didn't have to pay $1 extra. But we didn't know to do that until my uncle came in and said, just read the contract and check your clauses. It's very important.
Yeah, that's how important it is to read like each and everything in your contract very thoroughly, like
Yeah.
properly, like all these, even the insurance, like DDS,
Insurance.
like a
Yeah.
project disclosure in like a statement, all these things.
Oh,
So the
God.
more you read, you'll come across so many things. It's not just buying something. You need to know the clause and all. Like, are they gonna really cover and all these things? So that's very important. Don't just sign blindly, as I always tell my clients. So just
Yeah.
read thorough.
And you can always engage a conveyancer or a property lawyer.
Yeah,
with this stuff.
definitely. And you can ask them questions also. Why this is what does this mean? So they're happy to answer something.
Yeah, of course. And it makes sense. Oh my gosh, Subi, we've flown through this interview, and I still have so much more to ask. So I'm so thankful that you came on the show to share your wisdom. And I think we're going to have you back, because I've got so many questions. But I actually asked a lot of them that naturally, so I didn't even realize. But one thing I want to leave with is we can't let you go without Reddit. All right. We have a segment on this show called Reddit Myth Busting. And part of that segment is, for those of you that don't know, is we actually get submissions from our listeners about some, situations. And these ones today are specifically around renovations. And I just want to get your honest take on this person who's made a post about their situation when they're renovating, and get your take on it and see how you would help them. So are you up for the task?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So this first one here is from the Oz Property Chat. And this person writes, my house is a single-story double brick home built in 1970. I have a budget of $300,000 and I am planning to renovate the interior. I want to redo 3 bathrooms and the kitchen, add a dining room extension, repaint the walls, and install new wooden flooring. I'm not sure if this is achievable within my budget. So, Subi, when someone comes to you with a $300,000 budget and a big wish list like this, what's your first step in setting expectations with your client?
Certainly, like as I said before, first I want to look at the typical value or like a suburb factor, right? So if it's $1 million house, 300 will go very fast. You'll overcapitalize that budget.
Yeah.
So I want to prioritize that 3 things I mentioned, like a must or okay to have or waste of money.
Yeah,
I'll prioritize those things like kitchen, bathroom, as you mentioned, I think bathroom.
Yeah, he did. And
Yeah.
dining room extension.
Dining room extension. So first I'll go with the kitchen, bathroom, and slowly, eventually, I want to add more items as we go, and we'll see the how the numbers work with them, with the multiple quotes, 3 quotes at least.
Right.
Each work.
So you're kind of stacking up like market value as you go. So it's like you get the quote, assess the value at that point after that first part of the renovation. But then if you're like, we could do better, let's do that extension, or let's add another bedroom. Is that kind of how you approach it as well?
Yeah, exactly. Like that way we know like this is how much they're gonna spend. And if you're really new, like 300K is a decent money for renovation project, right?
Oh, yeah.
So probably if you can do on like DIY, it's okay, but you can probably hire a project manager. He or she can save lots of money, I would say, because it's
I
lots of
agree.
money. And you can at the same time incentivize him, like, okay, if you can save like 300 to 280, if you can bring it down, I'm happy to pay you like a 2 grand or something, you know.
Yep.
Just incentivize how it's going to work with them. So, and that's how they will be more into finding a good deal for you, right? They will work
True.
for you.
Yeah, they work for you, and that's the
Yeah.
whole purpose. And I've got one more for you. This one has come from a different forum, actually. It's a Whirlpool forum, and they write, I called 2 builders for the same job, and I got wildly different quotes. One at 400,000, one at 300,000. Based on my research, I was expecting 200,000 max. So I guess this goes back to what you were talking about getting quotes. But what happens when, you do the research and you expect a certain amount, but you're not really finding the right tradies? How do you help your clients reconcile and find the right people that might do it for the right budget?
Like, I think you need to have a more proper quote, in-depth quote, like, and
Mm.
ask them questions like what exactly they are doing in 300 or 400. There can not be so much price disparity of 100K, right? And as you mentioned, 200K, that what he's expecting maximum. So it's way over. So look for another couple of more quotes and try to get more details as possible. And then you can do your market research also and ask, if required, ask for some property manager or their advice on this one. So definitely it's good to have more quotes on this one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love the way you answer that. It's like, because quotes, sometimes you get so sick of it. You get one quote and then you get another quote and then you get another quote and you're like, I'm over it. Like, yeah, okay, whatever you said, you were cheap. Let's do that. In this project management world of like renovations, you can't do that. You have to hunt. Like, it becomes a challenge, like, of who will do this for the best, most reasonable price, but best quality of work.
Exactly. So yeah, when you do the quotes also try to, you are the boss, right? Because it's your money. No one cares as your money than anyone else, right?
That's true.
So when you do the planning, so take everyone's opinion and use your brain and see, okay, this is what I want to do. And usually when I do renovation, initially this is what they're doing the renovation for me, and what I was expecting is completely different.
Yeah.
So what now I started with a run through sheet, like this is what exactly I want to do. I want the vanity this size. I want a kitchen I wanted this style. Particularly, I'm very specific nowadays with the renovation things. I don't want to do my renovation like in what they feel like. I want to do my way.
Yeah, you've got your plan.
Exactly. I have my plan in place. So
Makes sense. Oh, Subith, thank you so much for coming on the show today. My very, very last question to you, because I ask all of our guests, for anyone who's been listening today, who's been thinking about, jumping into this, what's one bit of advice or like a tip that you want to leave them with before they get started?
so like budgeting.
Yeah.
Regarding the renovation, budgeting is really important. Why it will pay. Then don't overcapitalize. Get multiple quotes as possible, as detailed as possible. Get the run through sheet. This is what exactly you want them to do, right? It's not they doing just to save cost and anything. And check like the median price in the suburb where you're going to do the renovation, and look for that price disparity. For example, adding extra bathroom or maybe extra bedroom. That is where you make money.
Yeah, that's.
Right.
I've learned a big lesson today. I was like, that was just a really good tip of how you put that, and I think.
Many people say like don't go for a 2-bedroom house,
Yeah.
2-bedroom house. But what if like all these 2 properties last I got, it's got a 2-bedroom house. I know extra living space. I can add extra bedroom and it goes up in value. So
Wow.
floor plan plays a vital role also in your journey. So
I think what you've shared today has been really eye-opening, right? Because like you said, everyone says stay away from two bedrooms, not going to have give you the money. It's like mindset though, and
exactly.
different strategy. It's like, yes, if your long-term goal is to make money off this property and not do a thing to it, yeah, okay, 2-bedroom home, I agree. That's not the right strategy. But for renovations in this strategy that we've all talked about today, it's really about seeing where the value can be added to the asset And usually it's in the form of adding bedrooms or kitchens or bathrooms, like what Subi's been talking about. So if you want to get in touch with Subi to have a chat with him about your options, or you're thinking about renovating, he's fantastic. We'll leave all his details in the show notes so you can reach out. But Subi, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
I loved this episode, to be honest. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, same here. Really enjoyed it.
I'm so glad. Well, that's it for today's episode, everyone, of the No BS Real Estate Podcast. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to our guest Subi for sharing his wisdom. If you wanted to contact us or contact Subi directly, we'll put his details below in the show notes. And as I always say, making a call and having a conversation costs nothing. So pick up the phone, have a chat, find out your options, and take the first step in the journey of renovating and get the right support in your corner where Subi can help. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next time on the No BS Real Estate Podcast. That's a wrap for this episode of the No BS Real Estate Podcast, powered by Abodi AI. If you found this conversation helpful, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who might need it. If you're looking for more guidance on your home buying journey, you can visit www.abodi.com.au for expert advice, property insights, and the tools you need to find the right home with confidence. If you're already on your journey, you can also download our app. Just search Abodi AI on the App Store or Google Play. Have any questions or want to connect, you can follow us on Instagram at abodi.com.au or send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode.